Hello, it's Cam from the Brother Slim. Welcome back to another Trench Crusade update read through. This time we're covering the Sultanate of the Iron Wall faction foci, or faction focus, and then also, I think, campaign rules? Something like that. We'll get to that one after. Once again, love the crest. Very, very cool. Beyond the invincible iron wall of Al-Qarash, probably mispronouncing that, lies the last and greatest Sultanate of the Faithful the world has ever seen. Here the lost knowledge flourishes, and from mosques of white marble and gold, the muezzin call the faithful to pray for the success of the Sultan's army as it struggles to protect the lands within the wall, and defend the caravan trails that provide the Sultanate with vital trade goods. The forces of the Great Sultan consist of conscripted Azibs armed to their famed Jazales, and the battlefield ahead will be littered with mines set by the skilled Sapper Corps. Their enemies will then be met with the charge of the Janissaries, the Sultan's superb household troops, led by their iron-willed Yubazi soldiers, which shatter the ranks of any foe. All the while, dreaded assassins from the Alamut prowl in the winds of time, striking the enemy elites and leaders, while the alchemists of the House of Wisdom unleash their Taquan creations, such as brazen bulls, homunculi, and lions of Jabir upon their foes. A lot more harder words in this one. The Sultanates can field troops for any situation, with good skirmishers, fast vanguard, heavy artillery, and powerful melee troops at their disposal. The assassins offer them a chance to harass enemies right from the beginning of any game. The trick of leading a successful force of the Sultanate is to strike the right balance of troops, weapons, and equipment. The Sultan's forces do not have the inbuilt synergy between them, but rely on you as their commander to pick the perfect troops for any situation. Luckily, no other warband has such highly capable troops at their beck and call to exploit any and all weaknesses the other warbands have. Yeah, so it's really cool. I like how they kind of draw loosely on some different kind of themes behind how to run the different factions. And so it seems like this one might be one of the more diverse ones that you can pick, and potentially one of the more complicated ones too. Warband models. Once again, these are the ones that come in the warband if you get it. This is the Yubazi captain, so this is your leader, and I believe the only current leader option for the faction right now, with its kind of harpy bird lady homunculus thing, and big gun axe, which is awesome. I don't know why. Gun axes and gun weapons have really grown on me over the years, and I think they're sweet. Leading from the front, the Mubarzarin, or Masters of Peerless Combat. Masters of Peerless Combatants. Might be a bit of a tickler though. Not only are they charged with missions of great importance, such as seeking lost relics and knowledge, they are expected to hunt down enemy champions and slay them in single combat. Having a leader as your boss main combat person is pretty sweet. Jabirian Alchemist. I think, so this is a great example. Well, both of these are just showing but especially this one, just how intricate that armor is. Love that big gauntlet too. That's really cool on the mask. Yeah, so a lot of detail and bits to paint there, but so cool. In exchange for the freedom to practice their esoteric arts, the alchemists serve on the front lines where their devastating weaponry, alchemical compounds, and artificial servants purge the unbelievers with calamitous potency. Boom, boom! Sapper, once again, shield and gun, specifically with these kind of Arab vibes? I don't know if that's quite the correct term for it, but really cool. Highly respected and valued specialists in the Sultan's army, they man the great cannons of the Iron Wall, mine the expanse of no man's land, and undermine enemy fortifications. Their weapons of choice make them easily identified due to the terrible burns on their bodies. Oh goodness. So boom, good boom, go the Sappers. If anyone's read Malazan Book of the Fallen, that's kind of spot on though. Lion of Jabir. This guy's actually a little bit smaller than I thought, but I feel like it's kind of fitting because they're an experiment based on humans, maybe? I don't know, but that's a disgusting shoulder. Good pose though, that's for sure. Created by the Sultan's alchemists and named after the deadly hunters of the plains, the Lions of Jabir can take many forms, not all of them leonine. Each one is unique, and their nigh unmatched speed and ferocity make them ideal for terrorizing enemy flanks. Very cool. There's another sculpt of them later down too. These are the Azebs. So I think originally the plan was for them to be multi-part, but you can tell just looking at the sculpts themselves, there's a lot going on, and trying to rework these into being multi-part, especially with the campaign launching when it did. I think that would be a challenge. I'm also not an expert in sculpting all those, so I don't know. Conscripted from the multiple provinces of the Sultanate, Azebs are experts at feigned flight and skirmish combat, using their impressive arsenal of the Sultan to tie down enemies, whilst their heavier troops close in for the kill, heavier troops being the Janissaries. Additional models. The Assassin here. This guy is so cool in my opinion. Really good motion in the sculpt. I love the daggers and the turban over top of the helmet. Looks awesome. A legendary order of mystic warriors feared the world over for their secrecy and ruthlessness. Assassins employ sacred rituals and powerful hallucinogens to flip through time itself and appear in 2 places simultaneously. Wild. Striking with startling speed before returning to a moment of few heartbeats before, safe from any retaliation. So, religious World War I tracer it is. Very cool. Janissaries, very neat. Big 2-handed sword, awesome. Sword and curved sword and shield also looks sweet. And then rifles also look awesome too. So these ones 110% understand why it's just the sculpts as they are. Doing these multi-part would be very challenging. Like, and specifically trying to keep the dynamism of the sculpts too. Great example there, if anyone's familiar with Kingdom Death, the base game has a whole bunch of sprues that you can build your own survivors with. But once you have them built up, it's really hard to have them really look that dynamic and unique or that interesting, just because they're kind of limited by like the poses of being multi-part. And to be fair, that's a little bit older, and I think things have come a lot further these days, like specifically looking at Games Workshop as an example. But trying to keep the dynamism and the amount of detail and things going on with multi-part does not strike me as an easy task. Raised from children taken in raids upon the marches beyond the Iron Wall, they are subjected to rigorous martial training, alchemical augmentation, and indoctrination to turn them into elite warriors of the Sultanate. Oh, goodness. So they're basically... Oh, that's awful. They excel at devastating countercharges, crushing elite enemy formations, and as bodyguards for high-ranking individuals. Cool. So they're basically like Halo Spartans or the Unsullied from Game of Thrones. All right, the Brazen Bull, which is really cool. One thing I was trying to put my finger on, it looks different from the art, is actually the helmet / metal face, whatever it is. I mentioned liking it, and I do like it, but I looked back at the original art, and I really like the original art. It's still got the same profile, but instead of it being truly a bull, it looks like a little bit more alien, and it's much shorter. And yeah, I like the original art more, I think. There's nothing at all wrong with the bull face here, but something about just like the metal face mask of the original art just I really like. The gunblade and the sword and the tanks on the back look awesome though. Another of the alchemist's vaunted creation, the Brazen Bull is a monstrous being capable of tearing even the bastard child of a devil clean in half. Good line. The Sultan's armorers equip the bulls with heavy artillery that even the superhuman Janissaries cannot lift, let alone use in battle. Flame cannons, volley guns, and holy blades blessed by the word of the Great Protector. So this would be a cool one to see multi-part in the future, even if it's just like a different cannon that goes on. Here is the second line of Jabir's sculpts. This one's oh, gross! I didn't notice that it's got another set of arms back there, little grabber hands. Yeah, that's cool. This is not my favorite before, but it might be now, just because of those creepy hands. And again, I love how they ask veteran players, what are some of your favorite combos here too? Cool. But let's move on to the next update here, which is a quick update on campaign rules. I think this was the one that I wanted to cover. Let's take a quick look just to be sure. Yeah. Yes, it is. Let's read it quick. Don't mind my very slow computer as it struggles with the screen capture. So campaign rules. The updates of the last couple of days have been pretty heavy, and we're grateful for everyone's support on them. So let's talk about something a bit more fun today. So you download the rules there for your own perusal. These are the rules that allow you to play linked battles where you build your warband, fight bitter battles, gain experience, and learn new skills. Explore the secrets of No Man's Land, perform glorious deeds, request reinforcements from your patrons, and increase the maximum number of warriors you can field. Compete with your friends to see who emerges the victor of this small slice of the Great War. These playtest rules have already seen much use in the hands of Trench Crusade enthusiasts around the world, but they're not quite finished yet. They still lack some elements, such as rules for each scenario mentioned. We suggest you use the random scenario generator in the meanwhile, and the Court of the Seven-Headed Serpent does not yet have their full glory item list, for example. So that faction came together and was released kind of like unit by unit weekly before the start of the campaign, and then they had like playtest rules available as a separate PDF that I think are now integrated with the most recent, I think 1.5 version of the rules. Also, all very much work in progress still too. This should not stop you from tasting the thrills of campaign mode and allows you to start planning your future warbands. Like the rules, should you find any issues, be sure to leave them in the comments and we'll make sure they get fixed. Have a great day. Indeed, so just nice quick and light as I state. There's been a bunch of big heavy ones. The next one's gonna be a big heavy one too, and we'll read that over in I think in the last faction focus. Wild, yeah, the last one. Probably just gonna record it today too. I've been wearing the same shirt here. It's a long weekend for me, and makes sense to have them all recorded before the end of the campaign, at least for sure here. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you for the Grail focus, the Black Grail, Dark Grail, something like that. Bye.